In this video, we're going to break down the average salaries in team sports, why some sports are paid more than others, and mention the richest athletes in each sport. Here are the 10 highest paid sports in the world. Number 10. Cycling. For most people, the sport of cycling brings in just a few associations: Lance Armstrong and the Tour de France. However, cycling has a big following, mainly in Europe. Its events are some of the most expensive sporting events globally, and the best riders are loaded with cash. In 2021, the British rider Christopher Froome was the highest-paid cyclist in the competition, with a gross salary of 5.5 million euros, and that's without even endorsement deals. Number 9. Ice hockey. Being one of the 4 major American sports, ice hockey brings in a lot of dollars for its biggest stars. Even though the NHL is the least popular of the Big 4 sports, the average salary in the league is still above $3.3 million, or about 40% of the average salary in the NBA. Edmonton's Connor McDavid is the highest-paid NHL player in 2021, with $15 million in salary. And the 20 highest-paid players all earn $10 million per year or more. Number 8. Baseball. Once the most popular sport in the U.S., baseball has lost some of its following and appeal, but it's still one of the heavyweights. Baseball players sign the longest contracts in all sports. Even though the average salaries are slightly behind the NBA and the NFL, they make up for it with longevity, which is why baseball stars sign some of the biggest contracts in sports. Out of the top 10 largest contracts of all time, 8 were signed in the MLB, with Mike Trout at the forefront, who signed a 12-year deal worth $426 million in 2019. The average salary in the MLB is $4.2 million. Number 7. Tennis. Tennis is one of the more financially demanding sports in the world. To become a pro, you have to pay the court fees, equipment, coaching, and the list goes on when you manage to get on the pro tour. Then you also have to pay for travel, accommodation, and the entourage of people who help the player to perform at the top level, including coaches, massage therapists, nutrition experts, etc. And the player needs to pay for their accommodation and travel as well. There is no club or a league to pay for anything, and the cost of playing pro tennis can vary from $200,000 up to $2 million per year. Players outside of the top 100 barely make ends meet, as the prize money they earn usually just covers all the expenses, and sometimes not even that. However, for the very best, tennis is one of the most lucrative sports in the world, and it brings in a lot of sponsorship money. Roger Federer was Forbes' highest-paid athlete in 2020, even though he barely played due to a knee injury. Collectively, tennis's 10 highest-paid players made $320 million over the last year and $350 million in the year before. Number 6. Football. Without any doubt, the most popular sport around the globe, football is often called the most important of the less important things in the world. So, naturally, its best players are among the best-paid athletes in the world each year. In the last 20 years, football wages increased by more than 1,500%. Their salaries account for up to 80 to 90% of the club's total costs, compared to just 50% at the beginning of the millennium. The best footballers are also some of the most followed people on social media. Cristiano Ronaldo leads the way with 315 million followers on Instagram as the most followed person on the platform. That kind of following generates enormous earning power, and this helped him reclaim the top spot on this year's Forbes ranking list of the highest-paid soccer players in the world. Ronaldo is set to earn $125 million before taxes in the 21-22 season, with $70 million coming from salary and bonus for his return to Manchester United. Ronaldo, Messi, and Neymar are each earning more than $100 million per year, and each of the top 10 highest-paid footballers is topping $30 million per year. However, the average salary for the top teams usually ranges between $5 and $12 million per player. And midfield teams in the top 5 European leagues spend between $2 to $3 million for each player. Number 5. NFL. The NFL is the most popular sport in America, and its best players frequently occupy the Forbes highest-paid athletes list. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes leads the way at $45 million in salary. He made sports history in 2020 after signing a 10-year deal worth $500 million with incentives, which is still the largest sports contract ever. In 2021, 34 NFL players will make more than $20 million in salary. But because there are a lot of people on one NFL team, the average salary for a player is around $3 million. Number 4. Formula One. There are only 10 teams in Formula One, and each team has 2 cars in the competition. meaning that there are only 20 Formula One driving jobs on the planet. F1 is the pinnacle of motorsport, and those cars are some of the most sophisticated machines in the world, consisting of over 5,000 different parts. Even though hypercars are much faster than Formula in a straight line, nothing corners and goes around the track faster than F1. It takes a lot of skill, dedication, money, and several small miracles for a driver to even reach F1 and take one of those 20 seats. But once they do, they are usually set for life. Because Formula One is extremely expensive and luxurious, and its drivers are considered the best in the world, they are paid quite the sums. Lewis Hamilton brings home $55 million in base salary plus bonuses as the highest-paid driver, and that number gets bigger if we account for Lewis's endorsement deals. Even though his competitors make much less, the other top drivers all top $10 million in salary plus performance bonuses. Number 3. Golf. In 2009, Tiger Woods became the first billionaire athlete after 13 years as a professional golfer. Of course, the majority of that money came from sponsorship deals, which are not hard to come by for the top golfers in the world. Tiger earned more than $60 million last year, even though he barely played. Other than Woods, each of the top 10 highest-paid golfers made between $15 and $45 million. When it comes to prize money from tournaments, Dustin Johnson earned the most with $24 million. There's no lie in here, folks. There's a lot of money in pro golf, and even the caddies do extremely well, with a reported $500,000 in earnings for top-tier caddies in 2020. Number 2. Boxing. When Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather in 2017, it painfully illustrated the enormous difference in earnings between MMA and boxing. Conor, who was the two-division champion in the UFC and its most financially successful fighter ever, said this during the promotional tour with Floyd: "I'm going to quadruple my net worth with this half a fight." The fight generated 4.3 million US pay-per-view buys and 6.7 million globally, which made it the highest-grossing fight ever. Floyd reportedly earned over $250 million, while Conor exceeded $100 million for their dance in the ring. Soon enough, boxing money fights began happening on the regular, with YouTubers earning more money per fight than some MMA fighters in their entire careers. Because of the Muhammad Ali Act from 1999, boxing matches are not governed by any league or association like the UFC, for example, which means that boxers and their promoters can rake in more cash and get a bigger percentage pay-per-view, and also can negotiate their own endorsement deals. There's no ranking needed, meaning that any two people with a boxing license can set up a fight, unlike the MMA where the organization decides who will fight whom. So, if there's an interest in two fighters fighting, boxers can hypothetically generate hundreds of millions of dollars if they sell enough pay-per-view. That's why we were able to see Logan Paul vs. KSI generating more than $100 million, with each fighter raking in 35% of the pay-per-view, and reportedly making more than $30 million each, despite never boxing professionally prior to their fight. Number 1. Basketball. Per the collective bargaining agreement in the NBA, the revenue is shared between the owners and the players in a 50-50 ratio. Total NBA revenue increased from $2.6 billion in 2002 to over $8 billion in 2021. Simple math tells us that 450 NBA players netted over $4 billion last year, meaning that the average NBA salary is around $8 million per year. Of course, the highest-paid players are paid much more, and the newest maximum deals start from nearly $50 million per season. And Steph Curry, for example, will earn $60 million in 2026 from his contract alone. That is Steph's second maximum contract, and just from his last two deals, he will earn $420 million in salary. Of course, basketball is not just the NBA, and the highest-paid players in the EuroLeague earn well below the average salary in the NBA. But if we just look at the top earners and the fact that the NBA contracts are usually fully guaranteed, basketball is the highest-paying sport in the world.